Oh, yeah, I do like that music. How are you? This is the Doug Rice Show. My name is Doug Rice. Welcome to the 10-minute moment. Welcome to the Doug Rice Show news segment. And we've been working on this for a little bit. We are sponsored now by Twidwear, as you can clearly see. Twidwear is the highest in sports apparel. I'm going to suggest that everyone get some of that Twidwear, Twid gear, skincare. It's just Twid everywhere. And that's what I do. You heard what I said. All right. So, got 10 minutes to give you something I think you might like. Thank you so much for tuning in and at least giving me your support. Here's the latest offering that we have by way of news that informs us, just where we stand as a Negro nation. And from the root, we have Kalen Womack, who reports that crazy new development involving cop who put Elijah McClain in a deadly chokehold. Now, a jury has acquitted the Aurora police officer Nathan Woodyard of his charges in the killing of young Elijah McClain. Let's take a look at the specimen. And there he is in all his Neanderthal RH negative red-headed glory. The story is interesting. I got to say, folks, you got to check it out as you bask in all his greatness. And it starts shake my damn head. Well, all right. The old dusty self-defense argument seemed to come through for Aurora officer Nathan Woodyard, who put Elijah McClain in a chokehold after he allegedly tried to grab his firearm. Now, he's the second officer charged in connection to the killing to walk free. Two officers have been charged, two walked free. Woodyard was the first officer to approach McClain that fateful night in August of 2019. Authorities say McClain was walking home from the convenience store when someone called 911 to report him as a suspicious looking black man. For the crime of walking home from the convenience store, young Elijah is reported as looking suspicious and, a man, which I understand he's a younger kind of guy. Within 8 seconds of exiting the patrol car, Woodyard ran up on McClain and immediately tried to grab him, prosecutors argued. And per the USA Today's report, they also claimed that instead of de escalating the situation, Woodyard made the situation more intense as he tackled McClain to the ground and placed him in the now banned carotid artery control hold, which rendered him temporarily unconscious. Now, folks, look, I am not one to exacerbate or foment uproar, but this needn't happen anymore, and it all predicates on fear that police officers sworn to uphold law created by white men, come into our neighborhood, see black men, and assume out of fear that a report of a suspicious black male necessitates the kind of response that this officer has delivered and culminated in the killing of this young man and now culminates in the acquittal of the officers who are responsible. But let's see what happens. Woodyard testified with tears in his eyes. I'm sure he did that he restrained McClain out of self-defense, out of fear. Last week, Woodyard testified he put McClain in the corduroy control hold because he feared for his life. He said he had heard McClain say, "I intend to take my power back." And another officer said he just tried to grab your gun, dude. Now, I don't know what sane Negro in this country would even attempt to grab an officer's gun, innocent of any kind of accusation of simply being charged with the crime of walking while black. But prosecutors say McClain never tried to grab an officer's weapon, and it can't be seen in the body camera footage, which somehow I don't know equates to an acquittal. Woodyard's attorney's main angle was to separate their client from the paramedics who administered a fatal dose of ketamine to McClain. Report says, and though prosecutors claim McClain's condition began to deteriorate from his interaction with Woodward and his two colleagues, and also became Woodward's failed because Woodward failed to perform a medical follow-up. And in the end, the jury returned a not guilty verdict, unconvinced that the cops' actions met the definition of homicide and manslaughter. Ladies, gentlemen, brothers, sisters, if there's a point to make here, it's that any interaction, any confrontation, any kind of expected, um, connection to police officers made within our communities needs to be looked at completely suspect and with all due caution. And your children need to be taught that as they walk to and from the grocery store, there's every reasonable expectation that they may be identified as a suspicious character. Police called on them and their lives taken. It's important. Let's continue. Officer Randy Rodema was also charged in the death and was convicted of criminally negligent homicide. Officer Randy Rosenblatt, that name, was charged with the same crime in addition to reckless manslaughter, but he was acquitted last month. Per the report, the paramedics are still awaiting trial, but Monday's verdict meant defeat for McClain's mother. And can we even imagine the anguish the mother goes through? I can't equate or even relate, but here's what she said. My son was murdered by killer cops and their accomplices. And the system, the justice system, just us, allowed them to continue with their crimes, said Sheenan, McClain's mother, via NBC. So we see our children are not safe in this country. We are not safe in this country. This is an unsafe circumstance that we all live with and through on a daily basis. And it's imperative that we look toward one another and teach our children to be cautious as they roam the countryside in this country. I, for one, hope that soon we'll be removed from this circumstance. But until then, these are the circumstances we live with. I want to thank you for tuning in to the 10-minute moment with Doug Rice, the Doug Rice Show. And for goodness sake, like, subscribe, share, do all the things you want to do. And for goodness sake, hey, keep track of your children. It's been real. You guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm Doug Rice, 10-minute moment. Bye-bye now.